What up everyone? Welcome to Stack's YouTube channel. Today we're going to do an explain and review on the Jake Seeley Signature Sunday Street Sweeper Frame. Before we go into details about this, we want you to hang tight because at the end of the video we're going to tell you how to win a bunch of free stuff from our shop and maybe even a bike. And also we're going to tell you where you can buy this frame and also all the specs and everything about it. So yeah, pretty much this is Jake Seeley's frame, and I don't know if you've been into street riding or anything like that, but had a frame that doesn't really hold up to grinds or anything like that. This is a frame that can take the beating and keep on going. So Jake Seeley is a really tech rider. He does a bunch of tech grinds, from crooked grinds, spinning, was it Smith opposite, Smith 180 over, like a bunch of other crazy crook grinds and like toothpicks and ice pick combos and stuff like that. He's pretty much like a street rider that does a lot of grinds on rails and ledges, and he just got a unique style that creates something really dope for BMX. So he was lucky enough to get a signature frame from Sunday, and this has been by far one of our best selling frames. So if you're into street riding, I would suggest checking out the geometry and the specs on this frame and possibly buying one. So what's kind of cool is that this Sunday frame is a little bit different than the other ones. I know Sunday kind of got their name from the Soundwave frame, and basically that frame had a bunch of ripples on the bottom, basically helped the frame from denting. So this one comes with the traditional tubing, which is pretty cool, and then it also comes in this super cool translucent teal frame, and then it also comes in a rose gold at the moment. But remember that these are limited edition colors, and the colors are always changing. So if you really dig the color, don't slack, go out and buy it right away, because if you wait and wait and wait and you go to the local bike shop, they're probably not gonna have it. Then you're gonna spend hours just going online trying to find some mail order or something like that that actually has it. So do yourself a favor, support the local shops, help them buy these frames, buy them from them so that they can stock these frames so that you can just walk in and grab it when you need it. Don't let a lot of the mail orders grab them up and kind of keep the stock on hand, because that doesn't really help you, because you actually want to see it in person. You know what I mean? I know I want to see everything in person, and it just helps me buy it a little bit more. That's kind of why I created the shop. So that's something that means a lot to me. That's why I created the shop, and the only way that local bike shops can have more product, and if you're bummed about that, the only way that it's gonna fix itself is that you go to the local shop and you buy a frame from there, or you have them order it up, or you tell them, hey, you know what, I missed the last order, you know what, I want a new color, here's the deposit for it, here's the, the frame up front, when it comes in, let me know what colors are available in my size and let me order it up. So definitely help your local bike shop to carry more cool products like this. So with that said, is basically this is one of the frames that we suggest and that we try to stock here. It comes in a bunch of cool colors and stuff like that. Give me a second. Yeah, it comes in a bunch of cool colors. It came in raw, it came in translucent teal, rose gold, and a trans purple. I don't believe the trans purple is available anymore, so if you missed out on that one, sorry about that. Maybe pick up a trans teal or the new colors coming out. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the geometry and stuff like that, and we'll work our way towards the back. So traditional frames, they used to have like a 74 head tube, 74.5 when they started getting steeper. That was due to like trails, and then people started riding street and trying to do nose manuals. So they made it 74.5 to make it a little bit steeper, more responsive. So this one actually has an even steeper head tube. Nowadays, the street frames, they're going with a little bit steeper head tube. So this one is actually 75.25 degrees. So that's gonna kick the front end real low and stuff like, or kick it far back so that it's easier to get into the nose manuals. So that's pretty cool. Also, if you look at this head tube, it's a little bit different than all the other ones. It basically has a really tight radius machined into the top cup and then the bottom as well. but these actually don't have cups. It's actually integrated, so you know it's going to be able to hold up to any beatings that you're going to give it. And then another cool feature that this has is that it has gyro tap holes, so you can mount a gyro on here without a problem, and everything's going to clear. Your gyro's going to clear. Pretty much everything's going to clear, so that makes it real nice. And then as you go to the back, notice that it has a brake stop right here. This brake stop here is also just in case you run brakes. So it's got a removable one right here. You just use an Allen wrench. It'll loosen that up, take it off if you're not running brakes. It also has removable brake mounts, which is pretty cool. And they actually have like a shaved side to it. So like basically you can put a crescent wrench on there or an open end wrench and break it free without using an Allen wrench and stick it inside, or a screwdriver, and I've seen some other ones with holes on the other side. It looks a little bit cleaner, makes it, you feel a little more confident when you're using a bigger wrench to torque them down. So that's very, very, very cool. Also this top tube, it's available in 20.5, 20.75 and 21 at the moment. If you're about 5'6" to 5'10", I would suggest going with like the 20.5. If you're a little bit bigger and you're like 5'8" to 6 foot, 6'1" maybe, you can go with the 27.5. If you're like 5'11" to like 6'2", you're gonna want to go with the or actually maybe even if you're a little bit bigger, you're probably going to want to go with the 21-inch frame. So that's the center here of this head tube to the center here, and that's how they measure it. So if you're wondering what size frame to run, that's kind of the general rule of thumb. But remember that you can go up or down a size. It's basically up to you and how you feel comfortable. So definitely think about that when purchasing a new frame, or think about that on your current frame that you have right now and possible ways that you want to kind of upgrade. So let's say you have a 21-inch frame right now, but you're kind of short and you notice it's a little hard for you to nose manual. Not necessarily getting a steeper head tube is going to fix that. What basically is going to fix that is maybe getting a smaller frame. So the longer frames tend to track straighter, like you're going to be jumping a long jump or maybe riding park. So that helps you with that. But if you have a shorter frame, it helps you with like spins and tail whips and stuff like that, because it's not as big, so it doesn't take longer to spin around. So that's kind of the physics behind it. So that might help you out. Also too, this thing comes with a little bit higher bottom bracket, which is 11.7. Traditionally, me riding them back in the day, they went from, I would say 11.8 to 12-inch. So calling this kind of high is a little weird, but a lot of frames that are really good for manuals are a little bit lower. So they're like 11.5 to like 11.6 are usually the real low ones. It helps you with manuals. But when you're actually grinding, you're doing crooks, with the low bottom bracket, if you go over like a kink rail, that low bottom bracket's gonna hit a little bit easier and then pitch the back end up real high. So if you notice some people riding kink rails and I'm not talking about a rail that just kinks at the bottom, I'm talking an actual kink rail where it goes down, flat, and down. When you go down and flat, you're fine, but when you go over that last downwards, when you hit that little peak like this, what's gonna happen is you're gonna come up and over the rail and your bottom bracket's gonna hit and it's gonna kick your back peg off. And if you don't know how to like jump into it or lean over, your peg's just gonna fly right off. So with this higher bottom bracket, it helps for things like that. Also like crooked grinds where it's not like actually hitting your bottom bracket. Just a little bit other little features that help people that are grinding. So that makes it super, super nice. Also too, it's got a built-in seat clamp, and it's got a pretty cool Sunday embossed logo up on the front, and it's got a little bit like, it almost looks like it's machined, but it's probably invest casted, and it just looks kind of like a seat clamp, but it's not really a seat clamp, it's all built in. And then also too, if you notice on the back side, there's a nut. So what happens is sometimes people crank these down because they can't keep their seat tight, or I don't know, they just like to show they're tough or something, and they just wrench on everything, just just Neanderthals, you know what I mean? So those things end up stripping out for those type of guys. So they cured it up for you guys, and they actually put a nut back here so that you can just go to the hardware store, buy a bolt and a nut, or you come to the local bike shop and a nut and bolt will fit in there. So it makes it a little bit easier for you guys, which is pretty cool. And then also too, if you look at the bottom bracket, it's got a cool little machine product right here. So if you look at it, it's machined out right here so that if you're doing a crook, it drops in there and it kind of locks in. Also too, if we go to the back end, notice how these seat stays, they're actually tapered. So it's thick up here and it's thin down here, and then it's welded together here. The same thing with the chain stays. The chain stays are thick here, then they go down to a thin section right here. So it's tapered, so it looks pretty clean. But if you also look at it from this way, notice that they pinch it in the back and pinch it in the back here. So that's pretty cool, it looks pretty sweet. Another thing is people want to know what size tires this fits. This can definitely fit a 2.4, definitely something a little bit bigger. You could probably fit a 2.5 on here, no problem. Also too, if we go into the dropouts, these dropouts look super solid and thick, but actually they're hollow. So it's basically hollow inside and it wraps around, so they look super thick, but it makes it real light and creates like an I-beam effect. So it's a little bit harder to bend them side to side because it's got two different materials, and then the molecules, when it bends, it's harder to transfer that energy. So in order to bend it, it would have to bend around here, and then the heat transfer would have to transfer all the way around to the other side to allow it to bend easier. So that's pretty cool. And then also they have a built-in chain tensioner. So if you look right here, there's a little Allen wrench right here, and it's got a little pin in here connected to the Allen wrench, and it basically, if you want to move your rear end back, you could just tighten it up and it'll move it back a little bit. But make sure that you have your axle nuts loose. Don't tighten these down or loosen, mainly tighten them down when your axle bolts are tight, because what that's going to do is it's going to basically jam up your threads on your axle, and it's going to gum them all up. So when you try to take off those lock nuts or anything like that, what's going to happen is that it's going to eat them up, and then the threads are going to actually eat up your lock nut when you unthread it. So then it's just going to jack up your whole hub. So pay attention to that. Don't get excited. Don't get in a hurry. Take your time, be patient, and make sure everything's loose before you use these. Another cool feature is the Sunday caps on here. So they also have a little Sunday logo right there on the caps, and then they're welded to the chainstays. So that's super dope. Besides all that, aesthetically, it looks like a super sweet frame. It's got your basic Sunday graphics on the front and on the side that everybody loves, and then it's got the signature seat tube sticker right here and right here, and just an overall is just a dope frame. So yeah, for like the rear end, people want to know about the rear end. The rear end length is a little bit shorter than most frames, and it's actually kind of the new school. So it comes in at 12.7 to 13. So slammed is 12.7, 13 at the end. So where you run your rear end is going to determine like where the rear end length is. But you got to remember that it doesn't matter the size of the rear end. If you have the same sprocket, same rear gear, and the same chain, your rear end will forever stay the same. So a lot of people have this misconception like, oh, it's got a smaller frame, blah, blah, a smaller rear end, blah, 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 blah. They got all these scientific facts. It doesn't mean jack. What matters is that you have to cut your chain in order to make it a shorter rear end. If you have a big sprocket in the front or any kind of sprocket in the front and the same setup from one frame to the next, and that rear end sticking off the end, it's still the same length. I don't know how to explain that to anybody anymore, but you got to realize same chain, same sprocket, same rear gear, always going to be the same length. You actually have to physically take out a link or put a half link, remove a link and then put a half link in, or just put another half link in to change the actual rear end length. So I know that's a big myth. I know a lot of people, swear by it, but to be honest with you, I just think they need more knowledge. I'm trying to give it to you guys right here. So think about that when you get a new frame. How much can you remove? And if you're gonna actually change a chain up or put a half link on, or whatever you're gonna do to make that rear end shorter. So yeah, this is definitely a sweet frame. If you guys are thinking about getting a new frame, definitely think about the Jake Seeley Signature Sunday frame. This thing is awesome. You can sweep the streets with yours and hit up all the spots. But yeah, definitely super cool. If you wanted to buy this frame, hit up our website at stackbmx.com. Go on the menu, look under frames, scroll down, you'll see this frame, or maybe in a different color. Make sure you guys read everything so that you have a little bit more knowledge rather than just looking at something and assuming, because that doesn't really help anybody out when you assume. It's just kind of a theory or something like that. So definitely read, get your information, get your facts straight so that you can make a great purchase on stackbmx.com. Another cool thing about all the frames on there, and this frame as well, is that all the parts that we sell on our website all fit this frame, fit any bicycles that we sell on there. Pretty much integrated head tubes, mid-bottom bracket, 14mm rear end, 25/4 1-inch seat post. So anything on our website fits this frame and vice versa. And if you buy a complete bike and you're saying, hey, you know what, I want to buy this bike, but I want to actually get, I want to get a different frame, you can buy a frame and you can basically upgrade from there and just swap out the frame and you'll have a brand new frame. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching our channel. We told you we were going to tell you how to win some free stuff. So all you got to do is subscribe to our channel. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to give away a free parts package from all the brands that we carry. At 5K, we're going to give away a free bicycle retailed at $300 and shipped to you free of charge. And all you got to do is subscribe, comment below, give us something, leave us a comment, letting us know what you like about our videos, what you don't like, tell other people what's kind of cool about us, why they should subscribe. We want you to share this video, we want you to like it, and then we also want you to turn on your notification bells, because as soon as we drop a new video, that gives you another chance to enter a contest, and hopefully you can be one of our winners. Thanks a lot for watching our explain and review with the Jake Seeley Signature Sunday Street Sweeper frame. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for the love. We'll see you guys tomorrow.